In the heart of Old Cairo, hidden between narrow alleys and old stone buildings, stood the infamous Zeinhom Morgue. By day, the morgue was silent, heavy with grief, as families came to identify loved ones and claim the dead. But when the sun went down, the morgue became something else entirely. Locals whispered about shadows that moved on their own, and voices that called from the darkness. Few dared to pass by at night. Ahmed, a young medical student, had no choice. For his research project, he needed to spend one full night inside Zeinhom Morgue, recording observations about the human body after death. At first, he told himself the stories were nothing but superstitions. He was a man of science, and science did not fear ghosts. When he entered the morgue, the smell of disinfectant hit him. The air was cold, too cold for summer in Cairo. He set his notebook on the table and began to write, the scratching of his pen echoing in the empty hall. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the ticking of his watch. But as midnight approached, a strange chill spread through the room. The metal drawers that held the bodies began to creak softly, as if shifting from within. Ahmed froze, listening. He told himself it was just the building settling, but unease crept into his chest. The lights flickered once, twice, then dimmed. Long shadows stretched across the walls, twisting unnaturally. Ahmed rubbed his eyes, but the shapes kept moving, as though unseen figures were walking in the room. Suddenly, a sound pierced the silence, a whisper. Faint at first, but clear enough to make his blood run cold. Ahmed. His name. Someone was calling him. He spun around, but the hallway behind him was empty. His pen slipped from his hand, clattering loudly on the floor. His throat went dry. Fear gripped him, yet something stronger, curiosity, pushed him forward. Step by step, he walked deeper into the hall, his shoes echoing on the tiles. "Who's there?" he whispered, his voice trembling. The lights flickered again, plunging the hall into darkness for a second. And in that moment, Ahmed saw it. The outline of a tall man standing at the far end of the corridor. The figure was still, watching. Then the lights came back, and the figure was gone. Ahmed's heart pounded. He backed away, but the air grew colder, so cold that his breath turned white. The drawers around him began to rattle. One after another, as though something inside was trying to escape. He clamped his hands over his ears, but the whispers grew louder. Dozens of voices, all murmuring his name. Desperate, he ran toward the exit, but the hallway twisted and stretched, as if the building itself was changing. The door seemed farther and farther away. His legs burned, his lungs screamed for air, but still he ran. At last, just before dawn, he stumbled out of the morgue and into the pale morning light. His face was pale, his body shaking. Passers-by looked at him strangely, but he said nothing. He never spoke of what he saw, not to his professors, not to his friends. From that night on, Ahmed avoided Zeinhom Morgue.